But again, it's just the history up on Barber Street, right at the corner, that cemetery that you see when you come down Tower Avenue, that's a Jewish synagogue. They're still burying their loved ones there. But again, that demonstrates the Jewish population at that time. North Hartford, man, there's a lot of Jewish folks that were here back then. And I didn't see a significant change until I left Hartford. I left Hartford in 1966. I enlisted in the military right out of Weaver High School. 1967, I was in Vietnam.
I would say without question the two overriding issues most on the mind of the people of our own state of Connecticut are Vietnam and the crisis in the cities of America.
1968, I came home from Vietnam. 3 weeks after Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated.
King went down. I was in high school, in Hartford High as a senior. By the time we waited to see if the public school system would let us out. 5 years before that, when Kennedy died, they let us all out of school. So here it is, our great hero now was assassinated. So we were seeing if they had any kind of grief or remorse and say, half a day, y'all go home and deal with this. It was right before the weekend. So by the time noontime came, they did not allow us to leave. So the decision was made within some of the people there to walk out, and I was one of them. Walked out right with them. We left out the back door because the principals tried to block the front doors, 2 front doors, and we just kept leaving until we ended up with about 200 or more on Farmington Avenue going downtown. We walked downtown, stopped at a church, and the preacher did a prayer for the assassination of Martin Luther King. And then we left from there and went to City Hall, in which the newly elected Mayor Ann Usello came out on the front steps, and there's a picture in the Hartford Current and from back then showing that it was a peaceful march. And she spoke to us, and we left from there and went home. Came back that Monday morning. There were the principals with a list. They picked out certain people, sent them to the office, and let the rest of the students come into the building, no problem. We got into the office. They came in there and told us that we would be receiving a letter from the Board of Education and don't come back to the school. We were expelled from the school. And after a week or two, I received a letter from the Board of Education. Me and my mother went, along with the other people who they expelled too. Got in there and in front of a little panel, 2 or 3 white Board of Education executives, and they told us point blank, I was expelled from the Hartford school system. I couldn't go back to the Hartford school system, not even night school, to complete my senior year and graduate. I failed to graduate by a credit and a quarter because I wasn't allowed to continue that year to complete my whole year courses. But that was one aspect of the Martin Luther King assassination that we took on in this city. And from that, they started rioting across the country.
And I didn't find out what had happened until we was on 91, headed towards Hartford from Bradley Field. And they said, a couple things we want to tell you that's going on since you were gone. Number 1, your grandfather died, who was like another dad to me. And they said, number 2, since Dr. King got assassinated, this city's been on fire. Hartford that I left wasn't the Hartford that I came back to.
Question of law and order and what we're facing this summer, and what are we going to do about these problems of looting and so forth. Do we just stand by, or what do we do?
No, we shouldn't stand by, Tom. No nation can allow itself to be destroyed, and no nation can exist amidst anarchy and amidst violence and rioting.
We're a small city with a small cluster of African Americans at the time, and what they did was they cordoned off the city.
And I didn't realize it until we got up to the North Main exit, and I saw 3 straight troopers out there just waving us past the exit. We had to go down to the State Street exit, get off, come up on Main Street, make a right, come back down Main Street to the tunnel, and there was a barricade up all across Albany Avenue, Ann Street. There was just a barricade.
In the tunnel, historically, so you know, there used to be a fire. That was a demarcation point.
They cordoned off the city. It was up New Britain Avenue, down Prospect, all the way to near the University of Hartford. They came down Tower Avenue, and they went down Windsor Street, and they boxed the whole city in and shut it down with a curfew.
Look at how far I ain't got it out. I keep my crystal grill just to show the kids it's real. We ain't picture perfect, but we worth the thing.
That's what they did. So we weren't allowed to go out of this city. People that had to go to work or whatever, they didn't care. You know, they locked us in, and that was the effort of controlling us. Let us burn down our own city. Within our own city, we ain't getting out of here to go to suburbia.
You know, so if you're gonna act up, they kind of let us know that you can stay north of this,
Right.
But you ain't coming
Come
south
south.
of this. And that's Ann Street, where the police stayed, High Street, Albany Avenue, all that kind of intersect.
You know, we can't go to surrounding towns and, you know, where the white people lived and damage their environment. We can tear up our own. They didn't care. You know, and it still exists here today. It's with all the empty lots and everything. It's terrible. They never replaced anything. They didn't care. Redlined us.
We had everything you needed in the neighborhood, we had. And again, when that riot came, all of that went. We're still feeling the effects of that civil disturbance.